9 News at 9 starts right now.
The 2 victims of Wednesday's shooting at Evergreen High School are still in the hospital tonight, just as a new report today is shedding new light about the shooter's troubling online past. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jennifer Meckles. This report from the Anti-Defamation League shows that months before the shooting, the Evergreen High School student had a fascination of mass shooters, including the 2 Columbine High School seniors who killed students and a teacher back in 1999. The report also found the shooter expressed neo-Nazi views and was active on social media sites featuring extreme ideologies, even gore. Investigators, meanwhile, have not shared any more information about what they know about the shooter being radicalized, which is all they've said up to this point, or where he got the gun. Tonight, we are talking with some experts about the line between regular internet exposure and when it turns troubling. 9 News reporter Shalima Maharaj joins us in studio tonight.
Good evening. Jeffco officials say they believe the 16-year-old was radicalized, but they haven't said anything more about that possible motive. Now, many people are trying to put the pieces together to figure out just how we got here.
It just takes one video, one concept, one idea that catches somebody's attention.
Why? That's the big question that's been on everyone's minds since Wednesday.
When a tragedy happens, we start putting all of these puzzle pieces together and we go, well, it's all right here.
9 News parenting expert Dr. Cheryl Ziegler is a mom to teens herself. She says there's a big difference between kids getting exposed to stories online and getting entrenched.
They start talking about even, let's say, conspiracy theories. They start bringing up, just these sort of fringe ideas, and they're very interested in them and they want to either talk about it or they want to debate or argue with you. That's really a sign to maybe start looking into what the content is that they are consuming online.
I think one thing that's pretty problematic is that the plans and manifestos and personal statements of past perpetrators are available in some of these spaces.
Clinical psychologist Dr. Rachel Nielsen says experts are seeing more radicalization in the years since COVID. And in Colorado, 9 News Investigates counted 13 school shootings in our state since the attack at Columbine High School 26 years ago.
And so through hate forums and websites and rhetoric, kids can find things that appeal to some of their own personal grievances.
She says parents shouldn't be afraid.
We need to talk early and often
of having tough conversations with their kids.
We're out of Pandora's box, right? So kids are going to be using the internet, so we need to teach them how to engage with it safely.
Now, Dr. Nielsen says the most vulnerable people are those who feel isolated and alone. They don't have a strong sense of identity, and they tend to be angrier and even more resentful of others. In studio, Shalima Maharaj, 9 News.
Shalima, thank you. Students at schools across Denver today walked out of class, both in support of the students at Evergreen High School and also to protest gun violence. This particular walkout, this was near Stanley Lake High School up in Westminster, where kids lined the streets holding signs with a message to end gun violence and have safer schools. A smaller group walked out of Golden High School. Staff there say the school is now planning for a bigger walkout next week. The town of Evergreen has really been through it this week. And during a vigil just last night, a show of support, of course, following the school shooting, there were sirens blaring again through that small town. Turned out to be a shooting in a Walmart parking lot between law enforcement and the driver of a stolen vehicle. 9 News reporter Colton Chavez was at the Walmart shooting scene last night. He joins us live again tonight after speaking with some witnesses about not just what they saw, Colton, but what that felt like just a day after the shooting.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Jenny. And when we started to hear those sirens go throughout the town last night, you could almost see what people were thinking on their faces. No, not again. And for one family that lives just right up the road, she says that they were just leaving her home when they watched this entire scene unfold. After a school shooting shook this small mountain town, families gathering to mourn were interrupted by a sound still ringing in their ears.
And of course, our brains went to a shooting.
Amy Updike was leaving her home headed to the community vigil.
I just watched as 4, 5, or 6 cop cars came down Evergreen Parkway and into the Walmart, because we can see that from our driveway.
A front row seat to what she feared most.
And that's when I ran inside. I grabbed my mom. I was like, Mom, something's happening.
Dozens of law enforcement vehicles flooded the Walmart parking lot. Jefferson County Sheriff's Office says shots were fired by a state trooper towards the driver of a stolen truck.
We're not going to the vigil for the school shooting because we might be watching another shooting from our porch.
The sheriff's office says the driver rammed the state trooper's vehicle. The trooper shot towards the vehicle, but the driver took off, eventually crashing on I-70 a few miles down the road.
My mind actually first went to all the kids and all of the parents and everyone who was involved the day before, just hearing all those sirens come through our town again.
Too much too soon for the people in this small town.
Suddenly, the place we called home, our little mountain town that's tucked away, like, how is this happening here?
For Amy, the sound of sirens is a wake-up call.
No one's safe from gun violence.
Bringing with it an opportunity that can start here in her small mountain town.
Something needs to change from a bigger scale, but if something positive does come out of this, I just hope that it is change in policy in Colorado.
And as families like Amy's continue to figure out what that path moving forward looks like, authorities are also doing the same thing. Jefferson County Sheriff's Office sharing with us last night that when that truck crashed, they found a radioactive item inside of that truck. Last night, they couldn't go into what that was or what that looks like. I've been checking in with them the rest of the evening tonight, and they're still working to give us more information on that. Live in Evergreen, Colton Chavez, 9 News.
All right, Colton, thank you. In other headlines tonight, a man is in police custody tonight after a fight on an RTD train in Aurora ended with a stabbing. Arapahoe County deputies say they got a call this afternoon from a man at 9 Mile Station who said he'd been stabbed during a fight. He told dispatchers the suspect was still on the train. Deputies tracked that train to the Florida station where they arrested the man and booked him into the county jail. Deputies say the victim suffered puncture wounds to his face. We do not know the latest on his condition. All right, let's talk about your forecast now. We had some gray clouds covering skies for most of the day. Parts of the state saw storms bringing a little free water through our region, and we're expecting even more tomorrow, and some fall-like temperatures, which I will never complain about. Here we are, though. It is about that time of year, Corey.
It is, and we do have another round of scattered rain showers in the forecast tomorrow, and that does include the Front Range. Once again, here for tomorrow, this is a live radar shot of those showers still scattered across the state of Colorado. The shaded green boxes here, those counties are still under a flood watch, but that is expected to be lifted at midnight tonight. So tomorrow's round will feature just a little bit less heavy rainfall potential. Now here's the rain chances in Denver tomorrow. We could see some showers early on around noon, but really the best rain chances will come in the late afternoon, early evenings, hours between 4 and 7 o'clock tomorrow night is when our best chance to get those rain showers through. As far as the temperatures, likely not going to make it to 80 degrees tomorrow. Our normal high temperature this time of year on the Front Range, 81 degrees. And so we will be looking at those high temperatures being just a little bit lower than normal here across the mountains and the western slope as well. So I'll talk about the temperatures and also the rain potential for the rest of this weekend coming up in the full forecast. Jenny?
All right, thank you. Lone Tree police have arrested a man suspected of killing a rideshare driver last week. Police say 33-year-old Troy Marcus Reynolds Jr. is being charged with first-degree murder in the death of 57-year-old Kathleen Mayo. Police say officers were dispatched to a welfare check at an apartment on Park Meadows Drive, and when they got there, they found Mayo's body. Police say she drove part-time for Uber and for Lyft, unclear if that had anything to do with her death. The state quietly removed all the kids from Colorado's largest youth detention facility and dispersed them and the staff to different facilities around the state. This comes after 9 News has been looking into ongoing safety issues reported by multiple staff members for weeks. 9 News reporter Ria Jha joins us now, and you have filed a lot of record requests trying to figure out what's really going on there, why this happened. What have you learned so far?
Yeah, the staff I spoke with said officially as of last Friday, Lookout Mountain was empty. The state says that there were 36 kids that were transferred to other facilities, but the explanation officials have given us doesn't match exactly what we uncovered through internal emails or what staff has told us about what was really happening inside. One of Colorado's largest juvenile detention facilities is now sitting empty.
I'm glad they shut the place down. They needed to.
Former youth service specialist Megan O'Brien worked at Lookout Mountain for just 3 months.
Sure, I mean, there's other facilities that DYS runs that are not like that at all. But this one was chaos from the moment you walk in the door to the moment you leave every day.
Chaos laid out in records obtained by 9 News. Between June 2024 and this summer, Golden police were called here 194 times. The state's own records list 448 incidents, including 127 youth on staff assaults.
Like, does that number surprise you based on your
No,
experience?
not after working there. I think it would have surprised me prior, but after working there, I mean, it was constant. I've heard beyond stories, like from almost every employee there about being assaulted. I've seen it.
Megan was fired on August 29th. Her termination letter says she broke protocol by calling 911 during what she felt was an emergency situation on August 12th. That evening, she says the fire alarms were pulled, opening all the doors on campus.
I'm watching the kids run around, trying to break into other buildings, screaming, yelling, and I'm not going to take the risk of another youth or staff's life. If I felt it was unsafe, I would absolutely call 911 again. That's what I said. If I feel the risk is there for youth and staff, then I would do it again, and I was let go.
Megan also admits to falling asleep on an overnight stretch after a 16-hour shift. This overtime, she says, was common because of a severe staffing shortage.
You know, we got to the point where it was critical staffing or lower every shift.
When we first asked the state about why kids were getting moved out of Lookout, they sent us this email saying that it was a routine adjustment due to staffing issues. But then, through a records request, we found this internal email that says a completely different reason. It was sent out by a director to the staff saying they were struggling with basic safety issues at Lookout. It says that staff are tired and calling off because they don't feel emotionally and physically safe, and that youth need to move to centers that are more safe and stable.
These kids deserve better. These youth deserve better. You know, they can't be rehabilitated when they're living in an environment of chaos.
So we asked the state about it again, about why there's a difference between their private and public explanations of this. They said the decision was, quote, not a result of an incident or conditions at the facility, but rather a proactive effort to address staffing shortages and support youth. They said the move is temporary, but they haven't told us anything about how long it will be shut down for. Ria Jha, 9 News.